Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us on the SpyShack podcast, where a group of superfans of Survivor get together and talk about the latest episode of Survivor's Millennials versus Gen X. We'll be talking about episode 7. Aaron, how are you doing today?
I'm good.
Kim, how are you doing today?
I'm good.
Mark is not able to be with us today, but we still have Steve. Steve, how are you doing today?
Very good. Thank you very much.
All right, so let's talk about episode 7, I Will Destroy You. First of all, without any spoilers or anything like that, what did y'all think of this episode? Steve?
I thought it was one of the better episodes of the season. I really thought there were a lot of good stories going on. Just from the beginning of the episode, with that conversation between Adam and Taylor, coming back from tribal council, and I thought it was an exciting reward challenge, an exciting immunity, and very good tribal council. So all in all, a really good episode.
Aaron?
I thought it was better than last week's. I did feel after the episode that, or even during the episode, that the editing was really weird. For some reason, I felt that it felt a little bit off. And then, everybody was getting all to the... In the end itself, what it was leading up to, really, the odd editing and whatnot, was leading up to the big thing that happened in the end, which I don't know. I wasn't, which I can say, I wasn't happy with it first, but then after thinking about it a while, and now thinking about it today, it was a pretty good episode. Probably not as good as I think the two strongest episodes this season so far have been the one where Mari went, the one where Lucy went, and maybe this one. So yeah, all the even. This is an odd numbered episode. It's like the Star Trek movies.
Star Trek. Kim, what did you think?
I agree with both Steve and Aaron. I thought it was a great episode, but with the editing, I felt like it was leading to what it led to. I even tweeted my opinion about if certain things didn't change or certain blah blah blah, this was going to happen. So, in my opinion, the editing was leading towards what I thought was ultimately going to happen. One person I knew was safe was Will, because again, he wasn't barely in the episode. So when he's in it, we know he goes home.
Yeah, it was something that we had been talking about the last couple of weeks as well. But we'll get into that towards the end of this episode here. So let's talk about Adam and Taylor. We got last week where Taylor's showmance partner Figgy was voted out, and we got the opposite of what happened with Zeke and Hannah, where there was just like no conversation. Zeke did not want to talk to Hannah. We get Adam reaching out to Taylor and asking to speak with him, and he says, I'll speak with you. I'll talk to you. What did y'all think of their conversation? Was it is it good for Taylor to be thinking the way he's thinking, where he's talking, I'm going to destroy you?
I thought that Adam handled that conversation poorly. He took way too much blame and said, I know I screwed you, I did this to you, I did that to you. I would have handled it differently. I would have said, I know what I did hurt you, but in the scheme of the game, it helped your game as much as mine. This will benefit your game, and it will. So he should have focused more on how it would have helped Taylor's game, more than take the blame and the responsibility and the fault, like I screwed you over, I know I did this to you, and I hurt you, and I lied to you. I think Adam should have switched it around and put more blame on no one, and just said it was best for both our games.
Aaron?
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with Kim. It's funny. I was actually rewatching that first scene tonight, and I was laughing to myself. And he was like, "Yeah, I totally screwed you," and it was totally my fault. Yeah, dude, I totally screwed you.
Yeah.
And it was just like I was waiting for like the second part of that to be like, okay, why did I screw you, and why is it good for your game? It was just like it was totally like, yeah, mea culpa, I totally screwed you, and it was just no follow up to it. And I didn't get it. It was so bizarre. So I totally agree with what you're saying. It was hilarious.
Aaron?
Yeah, I was gonna get to that about the I told the Scrooge part. Yeah, I think Adam. Yeah, I never thought of it that he was sort of on the other side of the coin, or other side of the conversation, like the opposite side of where, sort of the yin and yang or whatnot with the Mari vote, or how he felt after the Mari vote. Now he's on the side with the numbers. And the way he handled it was, I guess, any way that someone, that age would handle it. And yeah, he did sort of, I think he was a little too show-offy. And I remember in the live thread, which I host on POS, I got a couple of likes for my comment. Yeah, there was one point when Adam said to Taylor, I screwed you. And I'm just thinking to myself, oh, so that's why Figgy and Taylor aren't together anymore. Oh, that explains a lot. Oh, God.
So here's what I thought about the whole. I screwed you. Him taking care. I'm wondering if maybe he is starting to set up Taylor, like, I did this move for later on, trying to say like, no, it wasn't Jessica or Ken that did this. I did this. So remember that I did this move for you. You know what I mean? It's kind of like saying like, remember that I did this move, and this was what got me to the end. If he were to get to the end, I don't think that's what he's doing, but that's what I can see being set up. But Taylor's thinking this whole thing where I'm gonna destroy you. I'm gonna listen to you, but as soon as I can, I'm gonna go back and get you.
That's why his gameplay isn't that good, because he's focusing too much on the personal aspect of voting Figgy out, rather than what is best for my game. And right now he needs to pull in Adam and say, okay, well, and I'll get him later, but right now I need him, and later down the line, but for now I need to keep him in my alliance and my second guy.
Yes.
Yeah, but Taylor just has his head up his butt and is just like saying, oh, but Figgy with sunshine and rainbows and the sky is gray and she was around the clouds, like went into the sky, and he's just still like in that cloud of being in love, and he needs to get over that like real fast.
But he got over it pretty fast, I think, once he got home. But
yeah,
correction, that was lust.
Professional. Yeah,
because that whole thing of being like, well, you wronged me and you messed up the alliance that I had from the beginning. I feel, even going to last week, these people need to remember that they are new tribes. They don't know if they're gonna re-swap or if they're gonna go into the merge the way they are. They need to start working as the tribes that they are now, rather than thinking about the old tribes. Right. When you start doing that, then you really start getting into trouble. I know there's times where thinking about the old tribe and sticking together once you get back together works, but it's very rare that everyone in your alliance is going to stick to the old alliance once the tribes get back together. We have David and Zeke that we saw from the last week's previews getting a little bit closer. We had already seen Zeke and Chris get close. David takes the chance to possibly switch Zeke and get closer to Zeke rather than Zeke getting closer to Chris by revealing his idol. Good idea, bad idea?
Mixed. Good idea. I get where he wants to gain some trust and build up his social game. So I can see that, but at the same time, I would never tell people I had an idol. I wouldn't tell my mother I had an idol, because it just puts a target on your back. Because Zeke eventually is going to turn on David. It's going to happen because you're playing for $1 million. So eventually, he's going to want to flush David's idol. But right now, Zeke's not there. He thinks it's great. So I have mixed emotions. I don't know what I would have done, but I understand for David's game, he thought it was a good idea. I think David is increasingly getting better as each episode goes on in challenges and social.
Mm-hmm. Aaron?
Yeah, same reaction. I have mixed thoughts. On one hand, I mean, with him and Ken, with him showing his idol to Ken, I mean, it's somebody on your side. If you really feel a close bond to them, yeah, I guess I would have. I mean, it's risky, but I would have been okay with that. But he was showing it to somebody who was on the opposite tribe to begin with. So that's even more risky than showing it to, somebody that you met on. You just met this guy, like a couple of episodes ago. So it's mixed reactions from me too. But there was a talk of either Zeke or David saying that they felt that they were both cut from the same cloth or something. That those were the exact words.
David said that.
Which I thought, okay, all right. Well, I could see more. I don't know. Maybe there's something we're not seeing between the two of them, but if he feels like he wants to, and Zeke's a trustworthy guy, then yeah. So yeah, we won't know until later. So yeah, mixed.
Steve?
Yeah, I'm gonna just flat out say I thought it was a bad idea. I just didn't. I agree with you, Kim. I just think it's always a bad idea to share with somebody that you have an idol. But it wasn't so much that the fact that he actually shared the information that I had a problem with. It was like the way that he went about it. Like when David's coming up to you with his eyes bulging out of his head, saying, "I have an idol and I want to go to the end with you, and this is my proof. And look, I'm proving it to you right now. I want to go to the end with you." It just seemed a little bit manic to me, and it just seemed like you don't even know this guy yet. Sort of going along with what Aaron said, he's from the other tribe. You don't really know Zeke that well yet, and I just thought it was a little bit hasty. It might end up being a good decision in the end to build that trust, but the way that he went about it just came across as a little bit manic to me, and I don't know that it came across as sincerely as he would have liked. It just seemed a little bit crazy and a little bit manic the way that he went about it. So I'm not a fan of that move, really.
Well, let's remember that David is the person that went around and what was it to Chris? Or to Ken? I trust you on day one, not really knowing who
Right,
it was.
that's what I'm
Yes.
saying.
And then went running looking for an idol.
Yeah.
Yeah, we also got to keep in mind that, or at least I picked up on. I'm sure everybody else has picked up on. I was picking up on it during the pre-show interviews. Just coming from personal experience and have some other friends and known some people that are like David. I am almost guaranteed that he struggles with social anxiety. So he probably didn't know. He probably doesn't. I think he's getting better compared to like what we just said. Episode one, he was all over the place. Now he seems a little bit calmer, but you just met this guy, dude. It's just like, I think he still needs to pick up on.
What I think is hilarious is that he goes, "I really don't like showing somebody my idol," but it goes, "You've gotten two idols, and right away, right off the bat, you show somebody that you just met that you found the idol." So it's you do kind of like showing your idol, and I believe I said it during the episode. I think he went to the school of Fishback for playing the game because he uses the idol to get friends. He is very socially awkward during the game. Although in Fishback's first game time out there, he was a little bit better, I think. But David is trying to make those alliances with the idol. I don't know if it's going to help him out or it's going to screw him at the end. We'll see. We'll see what happens with David.
It's funny that you mentioned Fishback because when Tocantins was airing, I felt like I could relate to Steven. Just he sort of made like the same gestures and like I don't know anybody else that I would have seen at the camp that I went to, or even looking. I felt like I could sort of relate to him. So yeah, he probably had a little bit of. I don't think to the extent that David does. Then again,
I think Fishback was more just neurotic rather than just being having social anxiety.
Yeah, because at least Well, Stephen did date Courtney, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
And the guy got no votes in the end.
Yeah.
The way that David was running around sort of reminded me a little bit of Nicaragua when Holly and Wendy Joe were having that scene in episode 1 where Holly's running to Wendy Joe and saying, I trust you, we're in an alliance together, we're going to go to the end together. It was just like, it totally reminded me that if you go back to that scene and you watch that episode, like the two of them interacting totally reminds me of the embodiment of David's character.
It kind of feels like little kids when they first meet somebody and goes, "You're my best friend," you know.
Yeah.
That's what it is with RC and Abby.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So we've had a couple of times where this happens. It's just I think we see David doing it to everybody.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go ahead and move on here. We get to the reward challenge, and of course, everyone's reaction to Figgy being booted. Nobody could believe that because, of course, again, the majority of the tribe turns on itself and votes somebody from the majority, leaving it an equal, Gen X and Millennials on the tribe there. What did y'all think of Michaela's reaction to Figgy being getting booted?
I loved it, and that's why Michaela will be one of the most memorable players in a long time because she just says what she feels, and I thought it was great. It's how I felt, Figgy had to go. I knew it from I knew Figgy had to go when Saul picked her in our draft. I knew it that day. I said, "Oh, I can't believe he picked Figgy. She's gonna be horrible." And I was right. Granted, I picked Taylor, so I'm no better. Okay. I do think Taylor will go a few more episodes because I think he's kind of gonna get mixed in the merge, and I don't think he'll be one of the first boots. But I loved it.
Aaron?
Yeah, I liked it. It went with, I think Probst was getting all teed up and getting ready. Michaela, what do you think?
He went in there already knowing what he wanted to say.
Yeah, because Jiffy Pup misses his show. So he throws it over to the news anchor. Over to you, Michaela. Bye, Felicia. So I did not get the reference. I just thought that Michaela was just saying wonderful words, wonderful combination of words. And so I had to look up online amongst the other groups and find out that it was from a movie.
Yes, from Friday.
Yeah. Friday. But whatever, I just thought it was a wonderful mix of words, and she just has a way with words. Michaela.
I thought it was hilarious. I think Michaela is just the sunshine of my life. She just has these one-liners that just make me crack up and make me jump out of my seat. So I absolutely loved it. I normally wouldn't like it on any other player, but she just has this way about her that she can get away with it. Yeah, she owns it,
yeah.
And she can get away with it, and there's very few people that can do that. And Sandra Diaz-Twine is another one that can do it. Yeah, so there's very few people that can do it, but she's one of those very few people that can do it, get away with it, and do it well, and you don't mind it.
She's one of the best casts in I can't remember.
In years, yeah.
Yeah.
I brought it up last week. Michaela's attitude would normally turn me off, and it would normally piss me off that someone like that was in the game. But I like Michaela. I liked her. She and I mean it probably is because she owned it. It wasn't something like she was trying to go out there and be that type of person. That is her honest reactions. She what is it? She wears her emotions on her sleeve. She shows all her emotions, and actually, Jay talks about it, and I don't know if it was a hidden scene, but I heard a clip, but I'll bring it up towards the end here when we talk about the tribal council. But however, this goes back to what I said about Michelle last week, how her or Figgy's reaction to Michelle last week. I feel like this going from one tribe to the other and reaching out and saying what you feel about a person in another tribe leaves people wondering if they can trust you, if you're willing to go beyond your own tribe and wonder what's going on over there and be so reactive of what's happening.
Yes.
So
that's what I said about when David went to Taylor when they won that challenge, or they drew rocks and they ate, and then David was so quick to try to get Taylor in some alliance if they merged. And I just said that speaks to who David is if he's willing to throw everybody under the bus day 3. You know, it was something like you just can't do it that fast.
Oh yeah, for the summit.
Yes.
So so there's, like I said, there's some stuff I picked up, and I'm still gonna bring it back up when we get to tribal, because I want to put a big old chapter or big old section of Michaela, because I think she is a big fan favorite that deserves her own section in today's show. Reward challenge. What you guys think about the challenge? I didn't really think it was all that great, but I mean,
I thought one aspect of it was very interesting, which was trying to get them, again, with the challenges with the balls. I am thinking that the Dream Teamers they have to be doing this on purpose, because they know that everything that Probst is going, that, oh yes, Probst will go there and say that. That they're just a bunch of middle schoolers. That they're just a bunch of 12-year-olds who came out of sex ed class. So, or I think actually, if somebody told me that a 12-year-olds came up with this challenge, I would not be surprised. But I found the aspect of the balls going over and having to rest on the piece of wood. I thought that was interesting.
Yes.
Like trying to get it, like not getting it over there or trying to get it on a target. You got to get it exactly right there. So I thought that was interesting. And little unknown I was talking about this earlier. For a good 5 seconds for both of them, Will and Adam, particularly with Adam, you could see them punching the ball through the net with fury,
yes.
and the ball was not going anywhere. Like, ah.
Yeah,
that was one of the few times Will was in the episode. But
yeah.
Yes, I can remember that. But one thing I remembered about the challenge at the beginning was when you had to lift someone up and they had to get the bag of balls around that coil. And when they chose Zeke, I'm like, Zeke is like one of the heavy guys. Why are they choosing him to get up there and do it? Because I'm like, I would have chose David because he was the tiniest. And again, David, he wasn't great at it, but he did better than Zeke. He managed to get it out, which was good. And again, I will give credit where it's due. David's not great at challenges, but he gets better each day. Still not completely Team David, but I appreciate he gives it his all, and he's getting better at the challenges.
Steve?
Yeah, I mean, I think watching David in these challenges is hilarious. I mean, it is sort of like watching, a preschooler and watching, kids taking their first steps, and, just, it's kind of funny just, watching him go through this. It's obviously he's never done anything physical. But yeah, I think that, it's, I think it was a pretty straightforward challenge. I thought it was fun to see that Ikebulu kind of was able to come from behind and win again. I thought that was exciting. I really thought, Ken was going to win it for his tribe. And, when I just love saying the name Ikebulu. I think it's a great name for a tribe. I thought that was cool that they were able to pull it off. And, thought it was interesting foreshadowing for later on too. So it was good. It was a good challenge.
Yeah, so we have Vanua and Ikebula winning the rewards. Vanua getting the bigger challenge, bigger reward, which was the chef to go out to their camp and cook them a nice meal. Ikebula had what did they win?
Skewers or
Skewers,
like
yeah.
kebabs.
Which Michaela was pretty excited about. You can go look at that there's a secret scene of her going, well, on one hand I was going, yay, we got skewers. It's like a great confessional of her going.
You know what for me with the food challenges, my issue with it always is I think of myself. Okay, if I'm there, I'm not gonna gorge because two things. I'm gonna get sick because my body is not used to this amount of food. And I feel like it's not gonna make me stronger for the next challenge if I'm physically ill. And I never understand why they gorge. And who was it, and one of you will know, that gorged after a reward challenge, and I think they had to be medically off the island because they got so sick.
Joe.
Yeah, Joe the couple.
Yeah, they were saying this is one of the most punishing seasons ever. The one who came close to dying was Caleb. The other two guys, Neil got some sort of infection.
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty bad. Joe ate too much beef.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. And this is the most amount of, when I heard this was the most amount of medevacs, just thinking, oh God, we're going to see the worst things ever. No, one guy's going to come close to dying. One's going to get an infection. One's going to eat too much beef.
Yeah. So I always, even that was just recently. Even before that, I always thought, how do you gorge like that? Like, just have a little bit and it's enough. Don't kill yourself, you know. But I guess I don't know what it's like to be starving either, you know.
I think that's what my mom calls don't have big eyes there, Aaron. Like, trying to pick your food, like, don't have big eyes. Like, eat what you think you're gonna eat.
So, reward challenge. We have a little bit more on this challenge where we got to see the reward. There was another one a couple of weeks ago. We didn't see anything of the reward that the one, which we don't care because it didn't really matter, I guess, because there was a Gen X tribe and they didn't really talk. They don't really talk when they're eating. But we go back to Kali, and we have Taylor making an alliance with Ken and Jessica, and. What do you guys think? Good idea, bad idea for Ken and Jessica to get with Taylor? Are they maybe playing him, or do you think they should stick with Adam?
They're playing him.
I want to say I think they're playing him. I think they're basically think, let me have an alliance with both, so then maybe hopefully they won't turn and get with each other. I don't know. I'd be surprised if they trusted Taylor more than Adam. But I don't think it's real. Something that Jessica said was that Taylor doesn't have a face for or a heart for the game as far as the strategy goes. So I can see them trusting him more because they can pretty much sniff out any type of underhand thing that he's trying to do. So I can see him trusting him more, but still keeping him on the side, just willing to cut his throat if he does something, because they're going to be able to tell right away that he's trying to backstab him.
Yeah, you know that he's not all there, because one of the things I picked up on when he was talking to Ken and Jessica, he was saying, I think it was to Jessica, oh yeah, we could be in the lines. Oh yeah, I'll never vote your name down. What was that? You would never vote their name down? How does one vote a name down?
He's a little bit of an airhead.
Think?
But anyways, he's already written one of their name down already, so.
He's like, I'll never do it again, though.
Yeah. So yeah, I just wanted to see what you all thought about that. Let's go to Ikabula with Brett. Why would Brett say he's what did he say? A funeral director or a mortician? What did he say?
A mortician. I think he said.
He said he was a funeral director, and as to why he chose it, he's probably a fan of 6 Feet Under.
I mean, out of anything you can decide to lie about, why would you want to be a funeral director?
Well, George Costanza always wanted to be an architect, so I don't know.
You know what? I think that was he could have come up with something maybe a little bit along the line. He could have said he was an EMT he could have said he was a firefighter, and at least
Mm-hmm.
it would have been enough where he knew enough about the profession and it wasn't a cop. Because basically they're saying, how does a guy with this personality, how is he doing what he say he's doing? It just doesn't add up. But I don't know why they automatically thought cop. I guess because he was lying. But cops, look at Tony. Tony won. So cops go far.
Is it me
Yeah.
or does Brett look like Gary Valentine or what's his name? His cousin from King of Queens.
Oh,
James?
Kevin James.
No.
Yeah.
I don't think he looks like Kevin
Yeah,
James.
Maybe
little.
Gary Valentine.
Yeah, I think maybe more Gary Valentine.
Yeah, definitely Gary Valentine. Yeah.
And you know that the Millennials were doing their research when they immediately went, "Oh, I don't think he's a funeral director. He's a cop." So they're showing that they watched the DVDs that casting gave them.
But I think that maybe with the I won't touch on it yet.
Well, Hannah's the one that looks like the one that sniffs it out, and because she's from the same area, right? And she says she's talked to a lot of cops, and he has that same type of demeanor. And Jay over here saying like, "Well, yeah, he'd be the one I'd be running away from when I spark my bonfire."
Yes, I remember that.
I think Jay's starting to.
Come alive.
Yeah, I really disliked him in the first episode, but every episode from then, I've started to like him just a little bit more. Especially the last week with him saying why he's playing the game and why he wants to win the money. And so,
Absolutely.
I'm thinking that he might go a lot further than I was thinking at the beginning.
I was on the same page with that.
I think we were talking about this before, and I think I said it before. I think I prefer him without Taylor.
Yeah, we talked about that last week. That I think the best thing for his game was when him and Taylor got separated, because you saw who Jay was and not who Jay and Taylor were.
Yeah. Anything else you guys want to bring up before we get to the immunity challenge and the tribal?
Just the fact that it was just felt weird and sort of out of place that. Oh, they're talking to the people on Nickabola now?
Yeah, well, I think Kim tweeted out who's getting voted out, and I'm like, well, we hardly get anything from Brett, and all of a sudden he's this little discussion point from Nickabola. Like, maybe
I think they just had to probably put it in there, so they had to show him more. But I knew who was being voted out 10 minutes into the show.
I think a lot of people can read the edit a little bit better now. But I think with Michaela, they were trying to hope it wasn't going to be her. So immunity challenge. I feel like this is a little version of the one they had in Australian Survivor, where Aganoa won their first immunity, but there they had these big old signs they had to hit at the end with the slingshots, and here they had these little tiny ones. I felt like it was just like a junior sized version of that challenge. I don't know if y'all remember that challenge or not.
Australian Survivor was really long.
We have Michelle kind of freaking out because she can't after they fill this net of coconuts and it brings down their flag with the number or the combination. She has to get a key out, and she's freaking out because she says that she's stuck there. I mean, there's only a certain amount of combinations you can do, right? I mean,
6.
Yeah,
There was 6 different combinations.
I don't get why she was freaking out. If it doesn't work with one, go to the next one. I know it's a luck of the draw here if you go with one and you get it right away. But if it's not that one, go to the next one. Go to the next one. And
I
even
think
her
it
tribe
was-
was saying that she was having a meltdown.
I think it was the guys sort of egging her on, going, "Come on, Michelle." Oh,
Got her
I'm
nervous.
trying. I'm trying to it. Oh, it came out.
But she looked like she. I saw like the mini freak out, and I want to touch on something that Rupert tweeted during the show. He had said that he knows that Jeff yells and tries to cheer you on and yells during the challenge, and it's for the TV. He goes, but during the challenge, it's very distracting. So I don't think that helps when she's trying to get the code and you have Jeff like wants to tell Jeff, just shut the F up and I'll get it.
My wife says that every single time. She's like, "Just shut up, Jeff." And we're on the couch.
Think about what a challenge would be like if you were there on the island. There would be no music, for one thing.
No.
It would
It's
be
very
great.
quiet, other than Jeff screaming in your face.
It'd be very much like the first couple of seasons.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Which I would love, but no, it doesn't have enough. It doesn't have enough strategy in it. No.
So okay, so at the end, Ikebula loses. Manua does catch up. What I noticed here, though, I feel like Michaela was a little frazzled during the challenge. She didn't know if if her and Brett were gonna switch out, and then all of a sudden she wants to go back, and then not after all. She's like, just make up your mind and do it. And I feel like it was her, the one that was kind of causing the mix-up.
I noticed that too, and also when you were saying when Brett said was it Brett?
Yeah.
Yeah, when Brett said let's switch, and she was like, no, I'm not switching yet. And I'm just like, and I'm like, she needs to calm down, and this need to control and win, and this is probably just who she is, like a type A personality.
Cece, is that you?
Hurt her.
Yeah. I guess, Kim says she was able to figure it out right away, 10 minutes. But I think a lot of people were in for a twist here at the very end. And a lot of people were really, really upset what happens with the vote. So let's just talk about the pre-tribal and the tribal with Michaela here. And bringing up what you had talked about, Aaron, where she says that she's intense. Yes, she is very intense, and she even compared herself to Steve Jobs and to Michael Jordan. And
Oh God, I forgot about that.
to who people, a lot of people think that Steve Jobs was not a great person, and I don't know him personally. From what I heard, is he wasn't the greatest person. Michael Jordan, one of the greatest basketball player to ever play. But from what I understand, while you're playing the game, and even just in personal life, he's very intense. He's not the nicest person to be around because he's always wanting to compete. So
yeah, and I see that with Michaela is
Yes.
her competitive, her need to be right, and her need for control. And I picked up on that episode. That's why I knew what was going to happen. And when when they were back at camp and she was discussing who they should vote out, at that moment I said, why is she doing this? She's taking too much of a leadership role, and they're gonna cut her. They're gonna say she is too good at this game. We gotta cut her now while we can.
And she didn't have to do any of this because both Brett and Sunday were pretty much already okay with just going home already. They were pretty much resigned to vote for each other and let's see what happens.
Go on a trip.
Yeah.
And you know what I appreciate about the two of them was they decided to write each other's name down. No, one of them was going home, but the reason of doing it was so the other one didn't get hurt further down the line with saying, you wrote my name down. Mm-hmm. So I like that they came to this agreement that they didn't want to have to do it. Yeah, but let's do this. So then if you write down Michaela's name, it won't hurt you in the next tribal council.
I want to go back to Steve Jobs here. You can get rid of this with a final cut, but now thinking about it, the guy was sort of mean. To name the guy was a big Beatles fan, and to name your company Apple right after their record label, come on.
Yeah,
it's just my 2 cents.
Well, for her to compare herself to people that other people pretty much consider jerks or consider them that not nice people to get along with or easy to get along with.
About them.
She knows that she rubs people the wrong way, which. At first, I was thinking that maybe she was not self-aware of how she was acting, but bringing this up herself, it shows that she is self-aware of the way she's coming off to people, but she didn't care. And in the end, I think that is what got her in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
I agree, and it definitely was tough to see her go, because she's such a tough competitor, and I don't like the word deserve, but she deserved to be there. I had much rather Hannah have gone, but Jay, Hannah wasn't there. Will had gone. I wish that Jay made the best move he could. I mean, he had to do it for his game, and what I read, what Michaela had said was post eviction, she was asked why she didn't mention that Jay had an idol. And she said that as upset as she was and angry, she respects and loves the game of Survivor. And there just was no room for petty at the time.
Mhm.
And she knew that Jay made the best move for his game.
Instead,
Because-
she went off on a better shoot. I think that's what she. I had to look back because I was too pissed off when I saw when I saw her get voted out. I was just going, "What the?" My poor mother. Oh my god.
Yeah.
My poor. And I just tell her, look. I try to tell myself every time as I get older, Aaron, Survivor is just a silly, dumb show that doesn't mean anything in the end. Everybody goes back to their normal lives. It's just like the Oscars and the Grammys. Nobody remembers who won Best Picture for 2016. Okay, it was Spotlight, but nobody remembers. Nobody has this database of. They're going to look it up on their phone, whatever. So I try not to get too intense about it, but I had to go back and watch it. And what she did was when she went up to her torch, it was snuffed. She just looks back and she's just babbling nonsense, and then she's saying, blank up way of playing the game, and then she said, "Oh, I forgot my shoes," and she takes her shoes. I think she threw them while she was going down the walkway.
I was reading her exit interview with Ryan Haidt, and she says that she actually got up and went to Jeff without her torch, and Jeff said, "You're gonna need your torch," and she tells Jeff, "Don't even talk to me, Jeff," and she went back to get it, and she was like so upset. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's like.
I wish they would have left that. Oh my god.
That would have been brilliant.
Yeah.
It's just like they hide the I don't know if any of you know when BB, rest in peace, from season 1. No, actually he did die. for season 1, there was the whole. It's been said that for Pagong's first tribal council, everyone on the Pagong tribe, I think most of them, all wrote Jeff's name down.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just very funny, guys. Now vote for somebody on your tribe. Sort of thing. It's like Probst just want to make himself look better.
Right.
Yeah. So that happened, and then they asked her how long was her stare down, and how long she was sitting there. She was like, she was sitting there for a while, like she couldn't grasp what happened, and she was upset, and she couldn't see why Jake had betrayed her. But she had already said in the past episodes that she was going to be willing to betray Jay already. So people who are saying I can't believe Jay made this bad move or whatever. Yeah, it might be a bad move for him right now, but I mean later on, if he went with her, she was going to wait for her to cut his throat anyway. So I mean, Jay did a move that was going to help him in the long run if he gets far enough down.
Yeah. The problem is Jay did make the best move for his game. It's just that I happen to like Michaela a lot more, so I want to. I was
she's the better TV.
And the problem,
I think that, like we said, she's going to be the one that's back, because there's no way that they're not going to have that personality back on the show. She was, and like Saul said, you normally don't like people like her, but there's something about her that's still so likable. That you still liked her. I mean, she had, believe me, it was bad for her game, but still likable.
Yeah. Fellow Texan, I love her.
She's sassy, but she's not bitchy. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
yeah. And I think
And
that's
it's not personal.
and I
for
think
her.
that's why I like her, because my wife says I have a really big sass factor. So
yeah.
maybe that's why I like her, because I feel she's like kind of like me.
Whereas I didn't like a character like Nyanka, who was just
Oh
rude.
yeah.
She was just mean and rude, but she can say things that are sassy and it doesn't cross the line for me,
Yeah.
so
Figgy never crossed the line for me.
Yeah.
She was funny. She wasn't mean spirited. It was
Thank you.
never personal. It was just who she was. Like there was never a personal attack against anyone. When she
Right.
said bye, Felicia, for Figgy, well, yeah, bye.
We're talking about Michaela. I thought you were talking about Nyanka
Ah,
for a while.
Oh no, everything she said was offensive.
And literally with Michaela going, and when the other votes were read, and when she did her she gave the episode's hashtag.
What?
What?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with me, I literally had my jaw dropped open.
So, I'm gonna give her the award for the best tribal exit. I believe before at least for myself it was Judd before.
What about Shane? He was going to have an ice cream bar in 1 minute. 1 minute.
That's funny, but I wouldn't consider it one of the best ones. But now Michaela owns the best post tribal or post their exit tribal exit. Funny,
she was
shocking.
completely blindsided. There was sometimes people have a feeling they're going home, like that little inkling, like I'm not safe. But the look on her face when she looked at Jay, and Jay goes, she's like, "Was that you?" And he looks at her, and he's like, "It was me." And I'm just like, that was so freaking great. That was like one of my favorite moments in Survivor.
It was
savage,
like Godfather. It was so awesome.
It was so
savage.
It was
we have to give credit to Jeff, because I think he was holding off on reading that last vote.
Okay, guys, we'll go ahead and leave it there. Thank you very much for joining us on recapping episode 7. Thanks for everybody for joining us on the podcast. We have Steve at Steve Cancel. On Twitter, we have Aaron at Aaron_Con, and we have Kim at Kim is board. Get with them, guys. Follow them, tweet at them. Very fun group of people. Let us know what you thought about the episode.